Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video. In the last video, chatted about never enough syndrome and how to solve it. That feeling of no matter what you do, no matter what you achieve, it just never really feels like enough, which can lead to a lot of stress and a less enjoyable way to live that negatively affects performance. So in today's video, I want to share with you 3 actual strategies for increasing self-compassion in your life. And I'll start by saying, so why is this why have I come up with these strategies? Well, for myself, um, looking to solve my own problem of dealing with this never enough syndrome, even knowing that compassion is important, self-compassion is important. When I was able to swallow that pill, it was still really difficult for me to actually implement. A lot of the times when I think about what I'm grateful for, or when I try to just appreciate my accomplishments, it doesn't come naturally to me. It doesn't just feel easy. A lot of times I feel kind of like, well, what am I doing here? This doesn't, it's not working. So really, really inconsistent at best. And, but at the same time, understanding that, oh, this is what I need to do. This is important. And I know that when I do it, it works. I know the research says it works. So that's been a really frustrating point for me, but that frustration has led me to obsessively research for the last 2 years, how I can solve my own problems. And that has led to these 3 solutions that have been really, really impactful for me. They've been impactful in the 5-day morning motivation challenge. And I've also recently, my business partner and I have seen amazing, amazing results in the 5-week program, where we get to go deeper with participants over 5 weeks and really, really implement some of these strategies. And so they've become critical to our 5-week program as well. So these 3 strategies are: 1, journaling and reflecting with a focus on self-compassion. There's a couple ways to do that. We'll chat about that. The second one is building a habit of celebration. And this is a fun one. It's like a physical habit of celebration. And the third thing that you can do is to practice. Um, the third thing that you can do is to practice letting go. And there's an awesome book on this. So, okay, so let's get into it. So first things first, um, journaling and reflecting in a way that's focused on self-compassion. There's a few key things you need to do here. One, the journaling needs to be fairly consistent. I mean, the more you do it, the better it's going to be, as long as you can stay mindful about your journaling and it doesn't get stale. Um, so the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you're setting clear targets. Um, Anytime that I'm not feeling the accomplishment of my goals, or anytime I'm kind of diminishing them, it almost always leads back to me not being crystal clear on what was the goal in the first place. And Dan Sullivan, founder of Strategic Coach, talks about this concept of the gap and the gain. Some other people might know of it as sort of the moving goalpost, but as you progress and develop towards a goal, even over the course of a day, your confidence, your skills, your ability changes. And so what was once very impressive for you to set out to do, as you move towards that goal and progress towards it, it becomes less and less significant because it's closer to where your current skills and abilities and confidence are at. So one is documenting what does success actually mean and writing it down, physically writing it down, because our memories really suck. And even people with good memories, their memories for emotional experiences really suck because our emotions so heavily bias what we remember. So that's the first part. And the second part is to be really real on your reflections and put in the energy to go deep on what is actually really frustrating you right now. What's actually really difficult in your life? What are you having trouble with? And this was a huge breakthrough for me, but because it's really easy to write about what's good. And I'm a really positive guy, and I've worked from being extremely negative to becoming positive. And so, um, a lot of people in my circle, a lot of people in the coaching industry all talk about positivity, positivity, positivity. There's a difference between being positive, though, and ignoring things that are going on. And there's certain feelings that come up. I love my life. I'm really happy, but sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel really frustrated, or sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Um, and it's really important in my experience, to acknowledge those things. And by acknowledging them, you set the framework for self-compassion, because compassion really comes from understanding. And so if you don't understand your own emotions, if you don't understand the pain that you're in because you've chosen to kind of glance over it or block it off, not really experience it, then you won't benefit from the accomplishment of overcoming that pain or challenge. And so there's a whole bunch of benefits I can talk about that specifically. But to keep this video under 45 minutes, I'm going to stop that one there. So that's number one. That's how you can journal more with a focus on self-reflection and compassion, a focus on self-compassion. And if you want to know more about it, drop a comment, message me, and I can do another video about that specifically. The second thing is building a physical habit of celebration. And this one has been so fun in the 5-week integration program. Fun because, one, people think this is ridiculous, there's no way it can work. And two, because it works so freaking well. Really, especially for people who have a habit of beating up on themselves, taking never enough syndrome really to the next level, where it's a point of, it's based in ego. And it's like, if I don't achieve this, I'm not worth anything. And that's ultimately the theme of never enough syndrome that runs deep through my veins. But some people experience it more intensely than others. And especially people who have not been consistent in important areas of their life recently. People with high standards who have recently not been hitting those standards tend to experience this the most. But basically what this tool is you are going to build a physical habit. And it's a tiny habit. It's a very simple behavior. We talk in the 5-week program about how to build a really tiny habit. But basically what you're going to do is, right after you do something that you wanted to do, so you've done the journaling, you've documented it, it's important. Right after you do it, and this includes before you, like right as you start doing it, remembering to do it. This includes when you actually just finish doing it. But basically, you're going to have a physical celebration to celebrate the small steps towards your victory and the victory itself. So, for example, if it's really important to me to start drinking more water, let's say, and day one, all right, I'm going to drink a glass of water. Well, that requires a few things. It requires me to remember to get the water, and it requires me to actually follow through and drink it, not make excuses and just get it done. So using this habit, I personally, one of the physical celebrations I like to just do a fist bump into the air. And I go, yes, Josh. And as cheesy as that is, part of the reason it's so fun, it really, for me, when I do that, it's sort of like when you smile, how moving those muscles actually affects your physiology and makes you happier. Similarly, when I do that fist bump and I say, yes, Josh, it sends a message to my subconscious through my emotions that you're doing the right thing. And that's reinforcing. It triggers a release of dopamine, which enhances learning and gets my body primed to bring on that habit really, really quickly, but also to feel good about what I'm doing. And a lot of people talk about struggling to enjoy the process. I can talk about that in another video, but this is also tied to that. If you want to enjoy the process more, you need to be celebrating along the way, not just when you get to the finish line. So that's number two, game changer. I mean, number one's a game changer as well, but I love number two. And then number three is practicing letting go. There's a book by David Hawkins that I love, and I've recommended to several clients. I've had several clients read it and have amazing experiences as well. But the book is really about this concept of seeing emotions, feelings, thoughts, and then just letting them be, not placing extra judgment or extra emotion on the emotions and feelings and thoughts themselves, and really separating, for me, myself, from what I'm not this emotion, I'm not this feeling, I'm experiencing it, but at a certain point in the future, I won't be experiencing it. And so it's fleeting. Where this really comes in terms of the never enough syndrome and feeling like you're not doing enough is when those thoughts come in. For me, I recognize them as that. And just knowing, having this term of never enough syndrome, to recognize them and say, oh, cool, that's what this is. And then just letting it go. Not making it mean anything else. It doesn't mean that I'm not, it has nothing to do with how much I'm actually achieving. And in many cases, actually, it's more difficult and more apparent when I'm doing a lot of things, because I tend to be stressed. I tend to be pushing my system, not have as much resources left to dedicate to staying clear-headed. So the letting it go is really, it's like a form of passive meditation that sort of goes on throughout the day for me, where you're just kind of letting those thoughts come in and noticing them and saying, "Hey, I see you." That's a thought tied to never enough, and it's not really going to help me be who I want to be. And that doesn't mean I need to get rid of the thought. It doesn't mean I need to do anything with the thought. It's just having that kind of awareness that, oh, okay, cool, I see that thought there, and I don't need to react to it. I don't need to do anything. It doesn't mean I have to do more. And that alone, it's a skill. It takes time to practice it. And I can offer up some tips on how to do that in another video. Comment below, send me a message if you want to hear more about that. But it really is a habit and a skill that practiced over time has added a lot of energy back to my life, and really eliminated a lot of that frantic thinking of just, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. I won't say that it's gone, but the better I get at this habit, the more of a positive impact it makes in my life, and the happier I seem to get. And it has been transferable to clients, and I have seen it transfer in the 5-week program as well. The 5-day challenge, I think, is a bit too short of a time frame to really see it work. But so those are my 3 tips for how to experience and feel more self-compassion to help reduce that never enough syndrome. Yeah, I hope that helps. And any questions, comments, put those down below. Reach out to me, and I'm happy to create more content on this. I love it. I could talk about it all day. Have an amazing rest of your day.